How's it going, you guys? My name is Chad Kowal, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
What's up, guys? Rob here, Front Row Live Entertainment. I am reunited with Chad Kowal. I'm so excited to be sitting with you, dude, in person, dude. I didn't realize, like we were talking earlier, I didn't realize how long it's been since the last time we were actually in person.
I know. Yeah.
But it just feels like we've just been connected for years.
Absolutely, man. It's great to be back.
Yeah. What's it been like for you, like, now that you're here in LA, now that everything, the industry's pretty much here and you're focused on your music, on your solo career, how has that kind of impacted your creative process and just your music in general?
It's honestly been fantastic. There's so many people out here that are doing so many different things in the entertainment business.
Yeah.
So you go out and you network and you're just like, oh, cool. Maybe I'll meet a producer here. And you end up meeting somebody that's in makeup that does like stuff with film, or you never know.
Yeah.
And that's the magic of being out here. And I think it's honestly been really good to me. It's only been a little over a year since I've been here, but I've hit the ground running big time. So.
I know that, you know, a lot of artists, when they come here, it's hard to stay focused sometimes. There's too many things going on, too many events, too many parties, too many invitations.
Yeah.
How do you kind of keep yourself collected and just focused on your own craft?
Sobriety.
Same. Same.
Sobriety, and I feel like I have such a laser focus with what I want that, like, all the stuff of like the fluff, I just don't care about it. Like feeling like I'm cool or I'm hanging out with the cool people, it doesn't do anything for me. It's like I want to go out to things that I feel like are going to, you know, be helpful for me in my career.
Right.
And work with people that are kind and that, you know, have their heart in the right place.
Right.
And it's been great. So
yeah, it's good. And it's good because you're staying focused with your craft. Last time we really spoke was like the debut music for Billy Madison, which was like the debut of your solo career. And you've evolved so much, not just from like your music and your songwriting, but also just like the team and the people that get involved into your music.
Yeah.
How has that kind of impacted your process and, you know, just the way that you see your music when you're coming in to create? Like now it's not just like, hey, I can record this in my bedroom. Like now you have this vision of like, I can go to this studio, I can work with this person.
Yeah.
How has that been impacted?
It's been great, man. Honestly, I feel like I did an EP in 2022. I started recording it with Joey Bradford from The Used.
Yeah.
And naturally with working with him, he, you know, made it a little bit more rock, and I loved it. And it just reminded me of the stuff that I grew up loving. And I feel like that was really the turning point for the project, where I was like, I really want to start being more conscious of incorporating these elements into it. And that's been the wonderful thing. It's just kind of snowballed from there. I did some stuff with Stephen Gomez from Somerset. So it's just been slowly bringing in different elements from different rock bands and different artists. And honestly, the way I look at it too, especially being a solo artist, is because I don't have band members. Yeah. It's almost like every time I go to record, I have a new band in some sort of way.
That's a good way to put it.
So it just keeps it fresh, keeps it exciting, and keeps the new ideas flowing. So it's been great.
Now, all of these producers, they're part of this music industry, this genre that we both love and,
of course,
grew up with, but they also have their own kind of sounds and styles. So how would you say that that's kind of helped you kind of discover your sound as your solo music continues to evolve?
I think they've always come to me with like just ideas that I wouldn't have. And I think that helps me to be like, oh, well, maybe I can do a song like this because I didn't see it happening before, and here we are. And it's either more rock, or it's heavier, or maybe it's more pop and synthy. It just really depends on the song. But I've felt like it has just kept me discovering the potential of what this project could be. So.
Yeah. Now I want to talk about the EP that dropped earlier this year, Haunted House.
Okay.
Talk to me a little bit about the creative process of this, because there are some collaborations. There are different kinds of production or producers in the credits. So how are you able to collaborate with so many different people for this EP, but yet it still sounds like your cohesive body of work?
I went into it with all the songs written, so I think that really helped to kind of have that cohesion to it.
Yeah.
Stephen Gomez produced the whole thing, and then when it came to the features on it, like Lost in Vegas or Benny Main, I pretty much had the songs done, and I was just like, hey, you guys want to hop on this sort of thing? So I think it was kind of an afterthought, which is why it probably helped with it. But yeah, I basically just picked 5 songs that I was the most excited about at the time. And, you know, people have seemed to enjoy them. There's a couple of them that have done really well. And yeah, I'm really grateful for it.
Which one would you say that was that challenge for you on this process?
Honestly, I feel like the hardest songs on it probably were Heavy Heart emotionally.
Yeah.
And because I loved the demo so much that I got like the demo-itis where like I was like, I need to recapture the thing, and we exceeded it, thankfully. And then probably Haunted House, because it goes from like hip hop in the beginning to like full on rock at the end. There's like some yelly vocals in the bridge, and it's like stuff that I hadn't really ever done on a record before. So yeah, that was kind of probably the top 2 for that.
And that was a cool introduction for this EP, that song, because of the way that, like you mentioned, like the hip hop kind of feel. It gave me this whole mainstream kind of vibe, but still giving it this like pop punk emo kind of sensation at the same time. How did that change your recording process or the writing process?
I think, again, it was another one of those situations where it's like, let's just experiment with this and try this. Because that song, funny enough, when it was the demo, it was hip hop the whole way through.
Oh shit!
And it got so boring to me. And so I remember I had my guitar plugged in. And I had like reamped through one of the plugins that had like this heavy tone, and I started like doing this riff over the chorus, which ended up being like the breakdown. And I was like, I feel like that would be really dope. And then of course, like I'm a huge fan of Falling in Reverse and Ronnie Radke. So this is kind of my like tip of the hat, I guess, a little bit to that sort of style of music. But yeah, I was really proud of it.
So when you first started, you said it was a hip hop verse throughout this, or sound throughout the whole thing. So did you actively come into it thinking about hip hop when you were working on this track?
Of course, absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot of my earlier stuff in particular, I was always kind of starting from that point, because that's just kind of where my mind was at the point, like Post Malone, Black Bear, just stuff that's like has that production to it. But then as time got on, I'm like, you can only have so many trap hi-hats, 808s and stuff. So I was just very like, I don't know, I'm trying to pivot a little bit. The new stuff does still have some hip hop elements, but it's not as much so, if that makes sense.
How does that change? Because it's a different cadence to when you start singing your melodic stuff. So how does that change in the writing process? Do you even think about it in the writing process?
I think naturally, like if you were to sing over like an acoustic drum kit, or if you sing over like beats, it just brings a different energy. Much like when you listen to rap or you listen to rock, it's just like there's 2 distinctive lanes there. So I think it kind of allows for me to kind of say more, because if you're trying to write a catchy chorus, you can't like rap.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you could try, but I don't know. Just for me,
good luck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's a way for me to kind of, I don't know, do a little bit more lyrically, and just honestly kind of like, I want to be an artist that can attract fans of different genres. And I think for me to experiment with all these things and to keep it consistent like that, it's setting me up for having a fan base like that.
Right. So we go from that EP to now this new single, Half Alive. And I feel like off the bat, just the first vocals that I hear on this track, I feel like your voice is different. Whether you went to a higher register or you kind of changed it up the way that you kind of recorded your vocals on this track. What was different this time around on this single?
Different producer. So this is the first time that I worked with a wonderful producer named Connor Daniel. He's been working with Feldman for the past couple of years, and he's learned so much. He's so talented. So to kind of have his approach to producing me that way, and then also the conscious effort of this is kind of starting off the next wave of me pushing to become a rock artist. I was like very inspired by Beartooth on this one. It's not like the heavy Beartooth, but like when they have like the melodic, like poppier stuff. I wanted to have some vibes like that on this song, and I feel like we did a really good job. So.
And you're more personal now. Opening up to your audience, being able to like take us into your own personal space. How has that been, and how much of a challenge has it been for you to feel comfortable to do that?
Honestly, it was all just kind of a beta testing sort of thing. I wrote Heavy Heart, I wrote Lovesick, and those songs were really well received. And so I was like, okay. It's still interesting to me though, because it's easy to play a song that's like an Adam Sandler movie title.
Exactly.
It's not as easy to play something that's about something personal that I went through. There's been multiple times where I've gotten choked up live singing the songs, but I feel like it's special because it's like, if you can feel that, you can almost bet that somebody else is going to feel that way too.
Absolutely.
So Half Alive was very much the same thing. I start a lot of my songs with, I like an Apple Note with song title ideas, and I always start there. So I was just on a walk one day, and the entire chorus came to me.
Damn.
And so I just kind of went backwards from that. I walked into the studio with Connor with just the chorus, and we fleshed the entire thing out together. So really special.
What was it like writing it with Connor?
Fantastic. Super awesome. Yeah, he's he's a hell of a writer.
Yeah.
And he kind of comes from a lot of the same like headspace that I do, where it's like, whatever the production's doing, whether it's hip hop or rock or whatever, I have to have my stuff be catchy.
Yeah.
And so he's very much the same way. And so I feel like it was a really great collaboration in that way.
I feel like this song, as I mentioned earlier, like it kind of resonates to me. So I know for sure it'll resonate to a lot of people. Just the way that we feel walking like we're half alive. I feel like that is such a simple kind of quote, but it's like super, like it hits really hard. So talk to me a little bit about like being able to get into this space and like that, you know, you said you went out for a walk and the chorus kind of happened, but what was it about this track that you felt like, all right, I need to get this out?
I think just being fed up, you know, because it's just the big thing with this song is it was written to myself.
Yeah.
Like the fact that I was like going to have fans hear it was an afterthought. It wasn't like, hey, I'm writing this for the fans. It was like I'm writing this for myself. So it's like sick of living like I'm half alive, suffocating all the hate I'm holding inside.
Yeah.
Done with wishing I would die. No more half alive. It's like I want fans to be able to sing this now and like own that message.
You feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it just, again, it inspires me to keep going in this direction, keep sharing bits of myself so that fans can learn who I am.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to just write a brutal song or something that's just kind of about nothing. But like, if you really expose yourself, like, I don't know, I feel like fans will become that much more apt to, you know, enjoy what you do.
Right.
So
do you feel like that opened the door for you to be able to open up even more than you already have so far?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Because I mean, all the stuff from this point onward is like super, super personal. Like we already have the next couple songs like that we're working on.
Yeah.
And they're all very much in this vein, you know.
So you've always said, I'm going to do this, and you knocked it out. Like you made it happen no matter how many challenges or how many different boundaries were in front of you. With this new material, like, do you see yourself working on that debut album? Do you feel like it's time for that debut album for Chad, or do you feel like you still need to flush out some more music before you can even consider that?
So I haven't really talked about this publicly, but that's the plan.
Okay.
So basically what I'm doing is it's starting with Half Alive, and over the course of maybe a year and a half, I'm going to be recording a bunch of singles. And then at the end, I think I'll probably release maybe a couple songs, and that will be the bundle of the record. But everything from that point forward is
a new chapter.
Yes. It's being considered like under the same umbrella. So like, for instance, we did a song, a couple weeks ago called Panic. And it was like about this era that I went through earlier this year where I was like having horrible panic attacks. I was having insomnia and all this and that. And it's harder. It's like a harder rock song. But it was conscious of like, can this still live in the same world as Half Alive? Can we build upon this? And I already have the title and everything for the record, and I'm excited to kind of be able to reveal this over the course of time.
Dude, I'm super excited for that. And you know, as far as live shows go, you came to LA, you had a couple shows, performances. Yeah. What can fans look forward to as far as like more performances from you?
So I am performing at a venue called Catch One in Los Angeles on November 16th.
Okay.
And I'm really, really excited about it because I haven't played live in LA in almost a year from the date of this new one.
Damn.
And it's basically an indoor festival, and the lineup is super stacked. That should be announced soon, and I'm really, really excited for fans to come hear a bunch of new songs. I'm putting a bunch of songs in the set. We're going to be doing a cover of Smashing Pumpkins in the set as well.
Nice.
So just kind of evolving things. You know?
That's awesome, man. I love how much you've evolved since the very beginning when we first talked. Originally, and you know, I continue to enjoy everything that you keep creating. So thank you so much for inviting me into your space.
Of course.
Thank you for hanging out with me. You guys be sure to check out Chad Kowal. New single Half Alive is out now, and thanks for watching here on Front Row Live.